All right.
All right.
More than 8.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I think everyone is slowly joining here at the event. I see Livio coming in. A lot of people who have been to events of the Nomad Escape, who will be joining events of the Nomad Escape, but also a lot of new names. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this live webinar hosted by Xolo and the Nomad Escape about the E-residency. As we are now in the first minutes, we're going to wait for everyone to join the meeting room. So guys, if you are okay with that, we take a few minutes to let everyone in, and then we're going to get started. But feel free already to drop more information about yourself in the group chat. Where are you from? What are you doing at the moment? Where are you tapping in from? Because I can imagine we have people from all parts of the world. We have people from the Netherlands, I see, from the US, from South Africa. Every corner of the world is stepping in, and I'm very excited for that. And I'm very honored as well that Madis and me can bring all these people here together and gonna learn about very interesting topics that can be very beneficial for you as a location independent business owner or freelancer. And also, besides that, we're gonna have a lot of fun during this event because you can be fully free, be yourself, ask any question. And also the great thing is that Xolo has a dedicated advisor for you that can listen after the call, not directly after the call, but you can plan in a call with them to ask your specific business question, explain more about your particular situation, and they will advise you and find out together with you if the e-residency is the best setup for you. Madis, welcome here. I'm very excited to have you on board. If you're okay with it, we're going to wait another few minutes before we get started. And I see still a lot of people tapping in and giving people space. So we have, oh, this is beautiful. We have Doris from Madeira Island, artist and game developer. Hi, Doris. I'm also in Madeira. Probably not so far away from you. Then we have from Pakistan, Ali, welcome here, an SEO expert, also runs a digital marketing agency. Judith, welcome here from Germany, about to move to Spain, blockchain event organizer and investor. Hey, Taryn. Taryn is a very loyal alumni member of us. Taryn is in California. He's a digital marketer, and I know that he is living in Mexico mostly, but he joined us in Bali also a few months ago, and also last year in Madeira Island. And more people we see coming in. We have Topaz also. Topaz is from Qatar, was in Madeira Island even with us, and is planning to move to Portugal and also setting up her business potentially through the e-residency together with Xolo, as she wants to move here and yeah, use benefits. I'm very excited for that. I'm gonna have 2 more minutes, then it's 8:05, 7 at my local time, Madeira Islands, and then we're gonna get started. We have Mavis from Suriname. I know Mavis from many years ago. That's very cool to see you here. Psychologist, partner of Care and company who provides e-apps for companies. And then Anna Maria, also like a big remote work influencer, the founder of the Remote Impact and currently in Barcelona, joined us also 2 years ago already in Madeira Island. So this is very cool. Madis, you have a creme de la creme audience here, also very known names in the digital nomad space. So that's very cool. So they can help you spread the word. And I'm sure you can help them as well, getting some answers here on their questions. So 1 minute before we're gonna kick off, and then Madis can share his like more about himself, about Xolo, and then I'll do a short intro, still letting people in here. But guys, already thank you so much for being here. I'm very excited to get this started and get all your questions answered. We have Ryan, we have someone on an iPhone tapping in here. Hi, Madis. Great to see your face. Welcome here.
Thank you so much. And it's really cool to see so many people here.
Yes.
Before we jump into the webinar, maybe you can all write into the chat who knows about Estonia, or perhaps even have visited Estonia, or maybe you are already an e-resident. I don't know. Do we have people here who know about Estonia, who have been here?
I have been in Estonia. And
All right.
actually, I was a year ago in Estonia. I know long, of course, about Estonia because it's already very known for the e-residence and this solution for digital nomads. But I was a year ago there for one event. I would stay for a week and I ended up staying for 3 months. Yes, it's a very cool place.
We have a couple of people who know about Estonia and someone who's planning to visit Estonia in June. Okay, June is going to end soon, so better be here.
Ah, yes, Tim. Tim was with us also the last Nomad Escape, and he's going to another event where I'm going to meet him from Revolut. Yeah, a lot of tech startups are in Estonia. That's awesome. Mind Valley, yes. Awesome. And we have e-residents already, so that's great.
Absolutely great. Okay, so let's jump into it. My name is Madis, and I'm from Xolo. I'm like e-residency expert, some say. Still learning a ton because, like always, there are coming new things. There are always something to learn about e-residency, but I believe I have enough knowledge to to do this webinar. So, and I will talk about Xolo actually a little bit later. In general, Xolo is like one of the oldest service providers, and actually one of the, not one of the, but most popular service providers for e-residency in Estonia. So yeah, today we talk about e-residency, and the headline for this webinar is e-residency too good to be true? And it is because there have been some questions, some remarks that the Estonian e-residency program is like a tax haven or a shady way how to avoid taxes or something like that. And it's just simply not true. It is a wonderful program, but there are some things to consider, and those are the things that we go through today. But first, let's talk about what e-residency is. So the e-residency, in a nutshell, it's an Estonian government program which allows people around the world to use Estonian public services. And to do that, you usually use it for registering a company in Estonia. It started in 2014, and through the years, it has been growing exponentially. This year, we actually reached over 100,000 members. So the e-residency, besides the program itself, it is also like a massive global community of people. There are, for example, there are really active groups in Facebook. Now they are trying to make Reddit work for them. And whenever you have any questions about e-residency, those people in these communities are more than welcome to help you out. It's super easy to connect with them, and it's really close community. E-residency actually organize a lot of events, not just in Estonia, but in Estonia, as we have like a startup hub. For example, a really big event was Latitude 59, which e-residency was part. There was like side events for e-residency community. So it was like really good. Always like a good music, a lot of good people, and a lot of interesting discussions. And of course, if you are planning to start your e-residency journey, there are like plenty of service providers who can help you with not just accounting, but also with the legal services, with the banking solutions, whatever you need to actually run your business. Out of those 100,000 members, there is actually over 25,000 businesses started with the e-residency program. And there is like a big question why Estonia actually want to invite people outside of Estonia to like start businesses, because like what's the benefit for Estonia? And the reason why Estonia actually created the program is to kind of import business to Estonia. So it would be like beneficial for both parties. You as an e-resident can get access to low bureaucracy business environment. It's like super supportive with the really good tax regulations. But while the Estonia collects extra revenue from the taxes, every year Estonia collects tens of millions extra revenue from the e-residents, and not to mention like additional jobs that are created to the need of services. And so it's basically a win-win situation. What e-residency is not? It's a really important question because a lot of people get confused. If you become e-resident, it's not a travel document. It doesn't allow you to enter Estonia or EU, but if you live in EU or you're EU citizen, then you anyways have the access to travel wherever you want in the European area. E-residency is also not the tax residency, right? So if you are e-resident, then you are still like a tax resident of the country where you live, basically. Also, it's not a work permit. You can't use e-residency to join one of the Estonian startups, for example. So for that, there are like other solutions like Estonian nomad visa or the Estonian startup visa. If you think about that, you can definitely search them up. You will find as much information as you find about e-residency. One another thing to just to be aware of, that if you become e-resident, it doesn't automatically guarantee that you will get a business account or business bank account, because banks have their own regulations, have their own procedure, how they like which kind of clients they're working with. But we'll later explain it a little bit further. It's usually not the problem. Also, you probably will not get the personal bank account. So just to be clear, e-residency card or e-residency status is purely to access governmental services online to open Estonian company. So who can apply for e-residency? Good thing to know, e-residency is not for companies, it's your own personal identification card or status. So it's connected with you personally, not with the company or not with some kind of group or whatever the other opportunities there could be. To actually apply for e-residency, you should have an interest of using governmental services and starting a company in Estonia. And of course, unfortunately, due to the current events in Ukraine, there are restrictions on Russian and Belarusian citizens. So if you are from Russia or Belarus, then unfortunately, the residency is just not for you. But who is average e-resident? I have a really good example. My middle miss, who is my dear friend, and this is really like a really good example to whom the e-residency program is made for. So Maya is originally from Great Britain. She's a freelance writer and journalist, but she actually lives in Spain while having clients like from all over the world. So she doesn't usually deal with the Spanish clients, but rather like Estonian, US, and other countries as well. So we are working with Maya together on our own solo content, and this is really works great for us. And yeah, besides many talents around the world, many freelancers, many digital nomads, just a fun fact that there are some really notable examples of e-residence. For example, Angela Merkel, Trevor Noah. I hope everyone has seen at least one episode of his The Daily Show, and surprisingly, Barack Obama as well. So yeah, it's kind of honored to have such e-residents in Estonia. Before we jump into the next section, maybe you already have some questions regarding e-residency in general, e-residency status. I see there are one question.
Yes, there was already a question, and it's really funny that Angela Merkel is registered there. I'm wondering what they are, freelancers for the German state, and Barack Obama as well. But it's pretty cool if you set up there that you can say that you set up in a country where these incredible people did that. But we had a question from Marij. I see a lady popping up. Marij, that's you. Welcome.
Yeah, I thought if you put my question on the table, then maybe you should see my face.
That's beautiful.
Definitely. Let me read it through first. Does e-residency in Estonia make much sense for an European country's EU member? If you do not want to leave your country completely and so will remain obliged to pay taxes at home, at least in Germany. Germany is a really good example. I was planning to actually use Germany, for example, in the last section of this webinar, where we cover a little bit about taxes. So if you have a home base in EU country, what do you need the residency for? I will not yet jump into the taxes, but if we compare Germany with Estonia, besides taxes, there's other reasons why people actually join e-residency or start a company with e-residency, is because it's a low bureaucracy hustle. You will have access to all the government services online, so you can do everything 100% remote. You don't actually have to come to Estonia. Other reason is that, and again, please tell me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, starting a business in Germany is rather expensive. You have to have a shared contribution of 25,000 euros, if I remember correctly. If you're already here, then
no. Well, that's the question. If you are an engineer like I am,
yeah,
this is well, let's say a free profession. I can't translate that in English because the special version. I am self-employed for nearly 25 years now, and
right.
I hadn't to do anything. I just declare my income. That's all. I decide what's the name of my company. I need no registration, nothing at all. So for some kind of professions, it's very, very easy.
Okay.
And nowadays, as a digital worker, maybe nomad or not nomad.
Yeah.
I spend part of the year in Madeira normally, Xolo.
Right.
And well, I can decide wherever I want to work, but I have to pay taxes as long as I have a home base here.
Right.
Or I don't want to give up. But that may be different if you produce things, if you employ people, if you have got a physical site, then it's complicated. But that's not what e-residency is for.
Yes, e-residency is more for professional people who are just providing some professional services, I don't know, development services or some marketing or some consultation services. But if you're self-employed, is it correct that you also have to pay taxes based on your income every month, right? No? Okay.
No.
Then that's fair.
Well, let's put it, not everybody. Some
Okay.
have, some have not. Okay.
Yeah. And again, e-residence is not for everybody. That's absolutely fair. And I will never would press anyone to become e-resident if it doesn't make sense. So if it works for you, then absolutely just work the way it works best for you.
I want to learn the advantages because I find the idea fascinating.
Yeah.
Angela Merkel and Barack Obama or Trevor Noah, whom I adore, they probably have it as an out of idealistic reasons, not because they need it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was probably just cool for them, or it was just like a I think for Angela Merkel, it was more like a gift from our embassy.
If I may jump in, Marai, maybe so I have hosted a lot of online entrepreneurs or freelancers, self-employed, and a lot of people in our community, they are an e-resident. And the biggest reason I get from people is that it is very easy and user-friendly to run your business administration and your operations fully remote. So you don't have to go there physically. You can, like, everything is very user-friendly. I'm personally from the Netherlands. And for me, it was impossible to set up my company when I was abroad. They're very old-fashioned. And they were like, you need to be physically here and sign. I'm like, hello, it's 2023, right? So, and they're not friendly for the digital era. And then also, like, you cannot be longer than X amount months away from the Netherlands, or else you need to end your freelance company, for example. You cannot be 4 months or 8 months, not longer self-employed, or else, and traveling. So there's restrictions for that. So the biggest reason I hear for people is that it's just very user-friendly to run your business administration remotely. And then also for the tax-wise, that Maris is gonna tell later about, that it does have some benefits if you leave it in the company, but I will give the space for him to talk about that. But it's a very popular solution. Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Are there any other questions, guys, before we go to the next part of the presentation? If not yet, maybe later something drops in, then feel free to just drop it in the chat and I will moderate.
Yes, and there is no stupid question, so shoot away whatever comes into your mind.
Absolutely. Thank you, Maris.
But yeah, let's jump into the second part of the webinar, is to why bother with an Estonian company? The same question that actually Marie, is it, did I pronounce it correctly? Marie asked. So there are quite many reasons, but I will just go through 4 of them. So first of all, you can run your business anywhere on the planet. Like if you're an e-resident, you will have access to Estonian digital infrastructure like any day, even on the weekends, and you can do it 100% online. You don't have to come anywhere, but there are very few occasions when you have to actually travel somewhere physically, which I will cover a little bit later. The second one is Estonia is a pro-business environment, and the best example of it is, for example, in Estonia, you don't actually have to pay taxes on profits until you withdraw it as a salary or as a dividend, which means that you have more financial freedom to grow your business. Estonia is considered to have the best tax system in the OECD countries, and just a week ago, we had a webinar with regarding investments. This is also applies for investing through your Estonian company. So if you invest with your Estonian company to, I don't know, stock market, cryptocurrencies, whatever, then it is like basically we are accepting investing as your business activity. So if you earn profits, you still don't have to pay any taxes until you actually withdraw your money. Same thing goes with if you get losses, you still don't have to pay anything. So it's kind of a secure way how to invest. Estonian e-residency business is also an European business, which means that this is for the people who don't live in Europe, or who are outside of European like countries where they're, if they are like residents there. It's a, and this is, here is also like a really good example or use case. So for example, there are some countries outside of European Union, outside of US or Canada, where they are not able to create an account for example, PayPal or Stripe or other like payment solutions. So if you start a company in Estonia, you will have access to those kind of fintech solutions. And the last thing is, of course, save time. 99% of our governmental services are online. It is super simple to use. Personally, when I have to do my like personal tax reporting, it took me literally 5 minutes. I just had to click some few buttons. And after that, I was thinking like, okay, but I should check again my report if all the numbers are correct. But mostly like all those numbers are like automatically collected by our government, and we have like a really good infrastructure for that. Yeah, but yeah, we tell a lot that how great Estonia is, but just to compare with some other countries, starting a company or registering a company is like 265 euros, which is compared to like US or Ireland or UK or Singapore, it's more, but I still think like it's fairly affordable. Something that we are really proud of is the time to register a business. For me, when I started my first OU in Estonia, it took me less than 2 hours. It took me like an hour or so. And another fun fact, I think it was last year when we did like a work in S-Record in company registration. And the time was 15 minutes and 33 seconds. And when I talked with the guy who actually did this Guinness record, he said to me that it's probably beatable because they lost the Wi-Fi connection when they registered a company. Another really good thing about Estonia is that you don't have to have like a local agent or local director who is like I don't know how it's called, like a contact person or something like that. So you can like purely do anything yourself. You don't have to find yourself like anybody who represent you in Estonia, which is not the case, for example, in US or Singapore, and also Ireland. Digital ID cards, many times I already repeated it, that you will get access to the governmental services everywhere. And something that changed recently, in the beginning of this year. Previously, the minimum share capital was 2,500 euros, but now it's basically 1 cent per shareholder. So in general, I think like Estonia is fairly affordable, super easy to set up, super fast to set up, and yeah, really, really, really easy. Something to consider, as I mentioned before, there are some things that might not be comfortable with you. Although Estonia tax system is highly competitive, it's not really great choice for tax evasion because Estonian like business environment is super transparent. It means that everybody will have access to the information of your company. We can even see like how many employees you have, how many taxes you pay, and even the yearly reporting is actually accessible to everybody. I know that there are some people who are not comfortable with that, but it's just how Estonia works, and we just want to keep it like a transparent business environment. Okay, so what about the other costs besides company registration? So if you apply for an e-residency, then it's around 120 euros. It really depends on where you want to receive your e-residency kit. We'll talk about it a little bit later when I go over how to apply for e-residency e-residency. And yeah, besides company registration and share capital contribution, there is usually you should like hire an accountant or just take a service provider, just like Xolo is. And for us, like the starting cost is 89 euros per month. And of course, it can go over. It really depends on your needs, but we like to keep it as flat as possible. So 89 euros per month means that you get everything you need to actually like administrate your business. So it's like a yearly reporting, monthly reporting, all those salary and payroll payouts, etc. There are like other service providers as well who offer a little bit more cost-effective services, but usually they come with some kind of restrictions. So, for example, you can only make 15 transactions per month or something like that. For us, there are no limits. You can send how many invoices you want. And there is also one example where the yearly reporting, which is like mandatory thing you have to do, but it's not included to the like the subscription plan. So you have to pay extra for the yearly reporting. So yeah, for us, it's like a flat rate. You can get everything you need, starting from the 89 euros. But how to actually apply for e-residency? We saw that from the statistics, we see that on average, it takes like 3 to 8 weeks. And where this time differentiation comes from is where you actually receive the receive your e-residency kit. And also sometimes there are just a little bit longer queue in the Estonian Police and Border Guard Board. But in general, you have to apply online. I will share all the necessary information later on tomorrow with an email, like where to apply, etc., and all the other necessary information. But you apply online, it takes around 30 minutes. You have to just tell a little bit yourself. You have to add your own personal information, your name, your identity code, etc. Of course, you have to upload the picture of yourself, and you have to choose a pickup station. So the pickup station is where you actually get your e-residency card and the card reader. And there are like over 50 different pickup locations. I will share a link to that as well. There is like a big map of it. We have even some pickup locations in Africa. We used to have I think it was in Singapore as well, but unfortunately this was closed. But yeah, in general, most of the European countries are covered. Yeah, and if the application is accepted, you will receive your e-residency kit, which will arrive to your pickup location, usually in 2 to 5 weeks, again, depending where you live. And then you have to collect your e-residency kit. And I had a really interesting question a few days ago, that if it's possible that someone else picks up the e-residency kit on behalf of you, and it's not possible because like it's your personal identity card, and as you can imagine, it never comes under discussion in your own country, so you have to pick up your e-residency kit yourself. And this is the only time when you actually meet face-to-face with the Estonian government, or at least part of it. So yeah, no other person can collect it on your behalf. And of course, if you start a company, you also need a bank account for your company. And there are like main two possible solutions for that. One is like payment and fintech solutions. So like Revolut, for example, or Wise. And those are like 100% remote. You don't have to travel anywhere. Again, you can apply online, usually super easy to get. And there are, of course, widest choices of different kind of solutions for that. just one thing to consider is that they don't provide business loans yet. I imagine that it might come in reality anywhere in the future. And the other way is to have like a traditional banking in EU. And I have never seen that you would get a bank account in your in your own country for Estonian company. So most probably the only solution is like Estonian traditional banks. The most popular one is LHV. But with the traditional banking, there is also a need to have a face-to-face verification. So in that case, if you want to have like a traditional bank account for your company, then you have to travel to Estonia. And those are the two things where, when I previously mentioned that there might be some occasions where you have to actually travel somewhere, is one is if you pick up your e-residency kit, and another one is if you want to open a bank account in traditional banking. And between those different solutions, just maybe one thing to consider is that when traditional bankings are usually insured. So if there is like a super hardcore situation where some kind of payment solution will go bankruptcy, for example, Wise, I couldn't imagine that it will happen, but just to like understand what this insurance means is that you will probably lose all your company money, while with the traditional bankings, they're always insured. So if for some reason traditional bank will go bankruptcy, then you will get your money back from that bank usually. Okay, this is the second part of the webinar. Let's just take a little break. There was like a lot of information. I imagine you might have some more questions regarding that. I see there are many messages.
We have a few questions. If you're okay with it, then I will read them out, Maris, and then you can answer them.
Yes. Let's start from the beginning. I see Anna Maria asking regarding profits. Eventually, we'll want to withdraw profits. What's the tax then? I will cover this topic in the next section. Then I will come back to it and give you more full answer. How does Estonia compare to Dubai for opening a business? Good question. Don't have a really good answer for that, unfortunately. But Dubai is like, for once, it's not an European country. So this could be one of the differentiations. But other than that, I don't have a correct answer to that.
All right.
Then Livio.
We had Livio. He sent me a direct message, so you cannot see that. But he asked, what kind of company can you open in Estonia? Is there something like a limited company, or like in the Netherlands, they call it a BV, where you are not responsible as a person, but as a company?
Yes, good question. Should have covered it. When we talk about e-residency and opening a company in Estonia, then in Estonia, it's called OÜ, osaühing, which is like which directly means limited liability company. So yeah, there are like other formations as well, but usually we don't talk about them because those are like for really big enterprise level formations, or it's like a freelance type of thing where you have to actually pay taxes every month based on your income. So yeah, today we talk about limited liability company.
All right, perfect. And then we have the last question here from Nicole. Why do you never see traditional banking be connected to an Estonian business? I think you covered that.
I never see traditional bank. Nicole, maybe you can elaborate a little bit more. By traditional banking, you mean like banks outside of Estonia or something else? Okay. It's like Okay, I think there might be some cases where this happens, but it's like, it's not about Estonia. It's about like if there's a bank in Germany and you go to that bank and say that, hey, I want to open a company, but not company, but I want to open an account for my Estonian company, then they would look you probably like, why? So I guess that's the reason.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not related to Estonia. I think it's like a general thing that you can't really open a bank account for some other country's company. Yeah, except maybe some offshore banks, which is not the case for e-residency.
All right. Nicole says thank you.
Thank you.
I think like also some people here are here from my network. So no worries, Livio. Thank you for explaining it here. So I have people from Suriname. And Suriname, I lived myself for 6 years in Suriname, and that's in South America. And what I know, like I haven't been there for many years, but when I was living there, it was very limited in fintech solutions or international transactions. You cannot get access to easily to credit card, to Wise, to Revolut, etc. So the e-residence could be a really good solution. The only thing that I think, but I'm not sure what could be a challenge, is the pickup location, because normally that is the pickup location is at the Estonian embassy, correct?
Yeah, but we now have like some mobile pickup stations as well. So it's not
okay. Okay, because that could be like, I think for Suriname, and I have a big network there, could be very interesting, and I have a lot of followers there. But it's a very isolated country business-wise. So we can check that maybe out, because it could be very interesting. And I think if we could help people in Suriname, I was struggling with that myself, doing international business. And that was one of the reasons why I personally left. I wanted to be location independent, but it was very hard. So that could be something we could explore. Oh yeah, Mavis says it's even worse, and it's like there was a big economical crisis, inflation, and a lot with politics happened there, and it became very bad situation. But we can check maybe also Mavis, because I know a lot of people are struggling with that.
Yeah, let's check it after the webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Mavis. All right, let's go to the next section.
Yes. So
the questions.
One thing is certain, taxes needs to be paid. And here is a really clear disclaimer that I'm not a tax expert, neither is Michelle. So I will try to give you a really general overview of how the taxes work and a little bit context of how e-residency work with other countries. But I must stress it that if you have like real intentions, if you have real plans to open a company in Estonia, I will definitely advise you to seek out some local tax expert who can help you out with how the taxes work in your country, because we don't know that. So what are the taxes to be aware of? First thing is like personal taxes. And as I mentioned before, this is usually declared in your country of tax residence. So if you withdraw some dividends from your company and in your country, you have to pay taxes based on the income wherever it comes from, then you have to declare them in your country of tax residence. Really good example is, for example, Spain, I think, where they are really eager to collect all those income taxes. Another thing is company taxes. Those are the taxes that your company has to pay. And those are declared where the company is tax resident and or has a permanent establishment. I will talk about it a little bit, or I will talk about it in the next slide, because it's kind of like a really, this sentence doesn't say a lot, but yeah, I will cover it. Of course, there are payroll taxes and social contributions, which means that if you will have employees in your company, then by rule or by general rule, it is usually declared where your employees are located or registered. So if you have an employee in Estonia, you will declare all those payroll taxes in Estonia. If they are living in Bulgaria, for example, then you have to declare them in Bulgaria. So what I see, what's the common approach for e-residency companies is that they actually usually hire other freelancers or so-called employees with the contract. So the contractor must take care of his taxes himself. And the last one is, of course, value-added tax, VAT. Usually, like, this is also something that there are some exceptions, and I don't have the knowledge to give you a really in-depth answer about VAT. But in general, if you sell your services or some goods in the EU country, so you usually declare those taxes in your in your country where your company resides. So usually, like if you sell your services through the Estonian company, you declare those taxes in Estonia. So coming back to the company taxes, where will you pay those taxes? When you start a company in Estonia, automatically it is considered as Estonian tax residence. So from the start, your Estonian company is subject to Estonian tax regulations. However, if your company is also considered a tax resident or your activities create a permanent establishment in another country, your company may also have tax liabilities there. Again, the German example. So if you live in Germany, you sell your services and goods in Germany, then you most probably will have tax liabilities in Germany. So yeah, from the beginning, I think it was the first slide when I mentioned that e-residency doesn't mean that you're a tax resident in Estonia. So e-residency doesn't exempt companies from dual tax residency or foreign tax liabilities. But as you might know, Estonia has signed treaties with over 60 countries to avoid double taxations. So if you pay out dividends in Estonia, but you are or your company is considered a tax resident in Germany, for example, then you will pay the corporate tax in Germany. So this is like a really, really complicated situation, and this is something you have to figure out with your local tax expert, because yeah, like every country have their own rules. Some countries doesn't really care about your Estonian company. Some are like really eager to collect those taxes. So yeah, definitely. But in general, if your company or if your country has signed a treaty to avoid double taxation, then you should never pay double taxes, like in Estonia and your own country.
Can I give an example, Madis?
Sorry?
Can I give an example?
Yes.
Or the structure, because like I meet a lot of like digital nomads or like kind of like expats and people who move to countries who have benefits for people who make revenue outside of that country. So for example, I live in Portugal, and Portugal is very good combination with Estonia. Even my accountant here says that, for example. So let's say like I'm from the Netherlands and I live in Portugal and I have a company in Estonia. So my company needs to pay taxes in Estonia as a corporation when I only pay myself out, correct?
Yeah.
So when it stays in the company, and that's the cool thing about Estonia, when you leave it within the company, so let's say at the end of the year, you have 100,000 euros in profit and you have that in the business, normally you would pay 20% over it if it's just in the company, right? In most countries like the Netherlands or Germany, etc. But in this case, you don't have to pay unless you pay yourself out. correct? And then you pay the 20% over it. The cool thing is, for example, with a lot of countries who have now digital nomad visas, where you go as a resident, so I am now registered as a tax resident, as a person in Portugal, is that they look at like, okay, where is your income coming from? So let's say my business is incorporated in Estonia, and all the money from me, I have like international clients, they pay to Estonia, and then I pay myself dividends out, for example. And in Portugal, that's then the rule. In Portugal, dividends are not taxed. So they give benefits to people like myself. I'm kind of like a digital nomad. I'm here X amount of the year, and then I'm traveling around, and they say like, hey, we want you to be here. We want you to spend money here, to pay VAT over other services and in supermarkets, etc., and invest in property or in other types of businesses. And it's a beautiful combination. So there are, like, I think with traditional countries, Nordic, like let's say Netherlands, Germany, etc., there are no really digital nomad visas, but in the south of Europe, you see a lot of things happening now, like Spain, Portugal, I think Albania launched, Croatia launched, Anna Maria is here, like she's the ambassador for Croatia, I think. So these combinations of having an e-residence, having a business in Estonia, living in another country that has a digital nomad visa while you are from another country, creates like really, you can plan your taxes and create it remotely. But however, again, I'm not a tax advisor, but I only know there are a lot of different structures you can set up that are accepted.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful example. And this is, again, coming back to the community. If you want to figure out your situation or how e-residency could work with your activities, then you can always seek out to find like someone else who maybe have done something similar or live in the same country, and you can just share and exchange experiences. And they are like super helpful. And yeah, this was like a really beautiful example of how e-residency actually work with the digital nomads.
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, there are some ways to actually keep your company tax residency in Estonia. Like some obvious ones are like renting an office in Estonia, or hiring employees in Estonia, or hold board meetings in Estonia. Same thing is like registering assets and intellectual property in Estonia. Or like the most radical thing is to relocate into Estonia. I just have to say that those are the things that you can use to say the local like tax collectors that, okay, my business is actually in Estonia because we have an office, we have employees there, we hold board meetings there, we have like our assets there, so etc. etc. So those are the things that you can use to say that yes, my business is in Estonia and I am the subject of Estonian tax regulations. But one really interesting thing is, if you are like a digital nomad, then more than often, if you don't live in one country for too long, then you will not be a subject of this country's tax regulations. So you will kind of have no tax residency in general, and then you have to pay all the taxes in Estonia. Okay, I think, yeah, this is the last slide about taxes, because I haven't said anything about numbers. But yeah, I mentioned before that the Estonia is the most competitive tax system in the OECD countries. We have really minimal tax regulations and really low rates. Yeah, and the best like unique selling point about Estonia is that there is no annual corporate income tax. So whatever you earn in 1 year, you can always reinvest it back to your company and you don't pay any taxes on it. But if you decide to pay out dividends, then it's 20% of distributed profits. The VAT in Estonia is 20%. when you earn less than 40k euros per year, then you don't actually have to register your company as a VAT subject. So if you exceed the 40k revenue per year, then it's a mandatory registration and you have to start paying the 20% VAT. And yeah, as I mentioned before, all the taxes can be declared and paid online. So don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to travel to Estonia. And yeah, that's it about taxes. Let's see if there is any questions regarding that. I see, yep, few of them, or few messages at least. In Suriname, it's now in Suriname, it's now from bad to worse, even though they have internet banking. The government limits prospect to the very weak tax regulation. There is no liability. Thanks for the comment, Ivan. Tim, is there something I will look into more for my company? So, oh, okay, sad to see you leave, Tim. Enjoy your evening or day. And yeah, okay. Maybe you have any other questions regarding taxes. I will try to give you as good answer as I can, but it's possible to get the info on countries that Estonia has treaties with. I will add this information to the email that we will send out tomorrow. So yeah, this will definitely be covered. Let me just write it down just in case if otherwise I might forget it. Session. Okay. So yeah, didn't say much about Xolo, so now I will have this opportunity. So what's up with Xolo? Yeah, as I mentioned from the beginning, that Xolo is e-residency service provider, and we are one of the oldest, and we are the most popular e-residency service provider. So like, I think it was 5th of those people who have actually started the company in Estonia actually is a Xolo customer. What we do is that we are doing like from the accounting to up to all the mandatory government reporting. So all the business administration that your company needs to do is done by our specialists. So you don't have to really worry about anything. You can always ask our accountants for advice. You can, if something is confusing for you, we are really well known for our like exceptional customer service. But besides that, actually Xolo has developed like a user interface for your company. So if you come to Xolo, you will have your like company dashboard from where you can send invoices. You can even like make it easier if you have like a contract with some client, and you can set up like reoccurring invoices. So it will be automatically sent to your clients every month or every other week, or however you want to do it. Of course, you can upload your expenses. You can do all your travel reporting there, and you will have like access to your financial situation. So we have a really cool dashboard for our clients. Okay, we reached to end. Before we jump into the last questions, just want to say that we have a special offer for you. So if you sign up to Xolo, and this is through the Nomad Escape link, because we have like a special agreement with the Nomad Escape, then you will get like a 100 euro welcome gift to your Estonian company bank account, basically. So this is like a special offer for you guys. Hope to see you in Xolo. You can already sign up to Xolo. You don't have to apply for e-residency first, but in the like onboarding process, you have to do you have to apply for e-residency anyways. But if you sign up, you will not have like any obligations before you actually create a company and like have a contract with us. Also, I want to mention that I will be joining the Nomad Island Festival. So if you come to this event, then we have a chance to meet face to face. You might have some more questions at that time. So I'm there, happy to chat with you guys. And yes, if you have any other questions that don't come to mind at the moment, then you can always shoot me an email. We will also later on give you a link to one landing page where you can actually schedule a call with our Xolo's onboarding specialist who have even better answers for taxation questions or whatever else questions you have.
Awesome.
But yes, if you have any other questions, then it's your last chance.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the nice overview. Hello, Michelle, by the way.
Hey, Dimi.
I hope you are all fine. Yeah, so my question is, how would you summarize like the annual cost for running a company, like having support by your company, Xolo? Like what would be an annual cost in total?
Annual cost per total. So yeah, it's 89 euros per month. Of course, it's without VAT. So it's around 890, almost 1,000.
Is that your question answered, Dimi?
Yeah. Thank you so much. For more details, I will get in personal.
Awesome.
That's with you. Yeah.
Yeah, you tapped in a little bit later, I saw, and I see that you're on the road. And
Yes, I have to drive, unfortunately, because I have my flights to New York.
oh,
It's a crazy day.
We feel honored that you're here. Well, I told Maris already about you, and Dimi is a very, very well-seasoned digital nomad and also a software engineer, and he created a whole lifestyle around, well, about his work, etc. Has also a big reach, so that's very interesting. So you two guys should connect. So I will connect you on an email with each other. Either way, so I think that could be very interesting. And yeah, what I would like to just add, like, you know, like me as a business owner, I have now 6 years my location independent business, and to be honest, when I started, I was so overwhelmed with all the information. I had no clue like how to set it up and how to do it, and everything was so complicated, and I had to go in that case like to the Netherlands. I was at that moment, I was in Australia, for example, when I got the idea, hey, I want to work for myself. And I can remember that I called the the Dutch Chamber of Commerce, and I was like, hey, I want to be a freelancer and I want to, you know, serve clients here. And they literally told me like, ma'am, what do you think that you can travel the world and invoice people and etc. I was like, but I'm a great resident, I want to pay taxes and I'm not using any facilities and I'm there. And then I became actually obsessed with solutions for people like myself, and it took me a few years before I found out about the e-residence and about Xolo. And they make it so easy, like to just register. It's like the user friendliness, the interface, just to like a few clicks and you're in. And for the process, like I signed up also for the e-residence, it's like super easy to apply for the e-residence. And then you just need to pick up the card. It's like a small package with a card, with a thing you can put in your computer, and you can log into the governmental systems in Estonia to arrange your stuff. And then you need to have a partner, just like Xolo, for example, to arrange your administration remotely, right? And that's what it is. Like we make it very complex, and Estonia is like, I think, a big example for the rest of the world. I have no clue why the rest of the world is not implementing this, because if I would be in the Netherlands and would have any saying about this, this is the smartest thing you can do for a country and move forward, like with all the development of technology. We're in 2023 and Estonia is doing that greatly, and Xolo is amazing to work with. I had a call also with the onboarding specialist. So guys, there is in the chat, there's a link as well where you can just book a call with them, explain them about your situation. They will help you. Super, super cool guys to work with. So I'm very happy to work with Maris and his team. And besides that, Maris said he's going to be at Nomad Island Fest. Xolo is also an official partner of us. And we have also, for the people who are joined here on the webinar, we have not 100 euros off, but 10% actually off on the upcoming escapes. and it's up to 400 euros even on your escape. So depending on different packages we have. So if you want to join the Nomad Escape, if you have not been on it yet, then this is a great opportunity. If you're alumni, you know that you have already access to a higher discount. But guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We will send an email with all the information tomorrow. Maris, can I thank you so much for your time? It was a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for the explanation.
Yes.
And I will connect you with all the amazing people here as well.
And yes, thank you for inviting me, and it was a blast. I hope this information was helpful, and I hope it was as clear as possible. But yeah, again, whenever you have some questions, just shoot us an email. We'll take it further there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. And for the rest, feel free to follow Xolo on Instagram and also the Nomad Escape on Instagram. And then you can stay up to date of all our events, what is happening there. We have a big community globally of people just like you, and we're happy to connect you. That's what it's all about. Guys, thank you so much. Big hugs and kisses from beautiful Madeira Island, and I hope to see you somewhere on this beautiful planet. Have a great night. Bye, guys. Ciao.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Dimi. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, Marie. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mavis.
Hey, bye-bye. Nice to see you.
Nice seeing you.
Ja.
Dat is lang geleden.
Ja, echt waar. Oh my god, zoveel jaar.
Er zijn nog steeds mensen in de chat.
Ja, inderdaad. Is goed.
Oké.
En die mensen kunnen het verstaan ook hoor.
Ja, but er zijn nog meer. There are more people from Suriname. Like Mavis, meet Livio. And Livio was on our last Nomad Escape on Madeira Island. Livio is amazing guy. He hasn't been in Suriname for a long time. But this is a good connection of mine from years ago. So I was like surprised she was here. You guys should connect. Amazing lady, amazing guy living in Amsterdam. So I love that you guys are connected here. And I'm so happy to bring... Ik kan Nederlands praten, hè? De rest is weg.
Ja.
We have Jamila and Eva. So I was I'm very happy that I can bring people from Suriname here, because I need it. Like I travel the world. I think I'm the biggest, ambassador. Like I explain people about Suriname. No one has
Nice.
No one. Like only people me and like, what is that? Africa, it's an island. Like no, you know. And but I am really like hurts me so much because I still have friends in Suriname, how limited it is.
Yes, it is.
The international like business environment, and that was one of the reasons seriously why I left. And if we can, like I'm happy to help to check for Suriname if there's solutions, but even you cannot even get like, I think Wise now you can get and stuff in Suriname. But I'm happy like also to set up like, and actually like webinars for Surinamese people.
Okay.
Maybe because like I love it, like I miss it every day. I never went back, but it's a very tough situation.
Yeah, it is. It
Very
is.
tough.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so maybe we can talk about that, Mavis, for the future.
Yeah.
We can invite the Surinamese network and stuff, because my heart is still there and I really want
Okay, that's nice to hear and nice to know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sure. Well, great seeing you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tap out. I can't leave the, I need to end this because I'm the host. But maybe, I don't know, leave you and Mavis, maybe you want to connect. I don't know. Mavis is
Why not?
like,
yes,
maybe drop your LinkedIn here or whatever that you guys.
Yes.
You can what you can do, Michelle, if you make one of us host, then the chat will stay open.
Well, I cannot do that with the risk.
No, and I have to eat something because I'm here for holidays now in the Netherlands.
Okay. I cannot leave it open because there's multiple people here. Maybe like private information will be shared on my behalf. But if you like, I can leave it now open. If you guys want to, I don't know what you use, LinkedIn or whatever here.
Yes, LinkedIn is okay.
Or send it to each other here now privately.
Yes.
LinkedIn or
let me put it in the
in the chat.
In the chat.
Yes, you all guys are awesome. We had a lot of people. We had another person also from Suriname. Oh, is Mavis left?
Oh, she left?
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe you can send her Insta
Yeah.
or whatever, send it
Yeah,
to me.
she will, like, I can connect you.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you for being here, Livio. Good to see
Okay.
you. I'll see you
Good to
next
see you
week. as
again.
well.
Yeah, see you next week.
Bye.
Okay.
Ciao. Bye-bye.